Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the Songwriter Show, right here on Reality Radio 101. I'm your host Sarantos, a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can recall. Words are so important to me, and that's why I'm thrilled to host this show for you every single Tuesday evening. I believe that every song is a story. Tonight's guest is Les Whitney. He's spent the past 35 years either working as a CEO or mentoring CEOs. In December 2018, he lost the use of his left hand, quickly discovered that his hand issue was caused by a brain tumor which had metastasized from lung cancer. Over the past 4 years, he's lived through brain surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy every 3 weeks. His recently published book, Cancer's Gifts, A Loving Journey Towards the Final Chapter, is a story of his journey through cancer. Although his cancer is incurable, his book chronicles all the good and bad times he's had these past 4 years and all the learnings about life, relationships, and the power of the human spirit. The book is real, it's vulnerable, and it's inspiring.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show, Les. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. So, obviously, you're not a songwriter, but we do have other guests, and I know you've got a book, and I've had several book authors on the show. So, tell us a little bit about what got you started or motivated to write this book.
Well, first off, music actually what is related to my situation, because I went to play my ukulele. I play it almost every day, and my left hand stopped working. And that's when I discovered that. From there, we went on to discover I had a brain tumor, and from there, the lung cancer. So there is a relationship to music.
Okay.
Within about a week of having my doctor tell me I have incurable lung cancer, and looking at the statistics and seeing that I had about a 50% chance to live 1 year and a 1% chance to live 5 years, I thought, what an opportunity to share with my friends in my community my journey. And so I started blogging every day or two at first, just new diagnosis, new fears, the good news that came up. And that became my way of chronicling everything that was going on with me. And I did that for 3.5 years, and finally decided to turn that blog into a book and just capture everything that I went through so that others can find out what it's like to go through something like incurable lung cancer.
So, this is near and dear to my heart because my dad had lung cancer twice, and he succumbed to it like about 12, 13 years ago. So I totally understand what you're going through, and I admire your spirit, I admire your passion, I admire what you're doing. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, and I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
Yeah. So this book, why do you think people should read it?
Well, it's interesting because it's not just for people that have cancer. It's not just for people who love people who have cancer. I really believe my book has got thoughts and ideas that all of us can adopt at any time in our lives. None of us knows when we're going to die. I know 99% sure that cancer is going to kill me, and it's going to kill me sooner rather than later. So from there, I've accepted that. And now I have a life full of choices and a life full of opportunity to do whatever's possible for me at this stage of my life. And that's the message in the book. It's about, it's tough. I share all the misery and the tough times I went through, but also there's so much possibility, so many opportunities to live a great life for the rest of my life. And that's what I'm doing. And that's the message I'm sharing.
I think it's a great message, and I think it's important, and I'll tell you why. I think people don't live their life. I can tell you that I still am a workaholic, but I was a tremendous workaholic, and one of the things that inspired my musical journey, it was hard getting over my dad. After like a year or two, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do this since I was a little kid, and I don't want to get on my deathbed and have regrets, because I think nobody has regrets and says, I wish I would have worked harder. Everybody has regrets and says, I wish I would have done something with my life, whatever that is to each person. And I would urge all our listeners to listen to you and to do whatever they want to do, whatever they really want to do. There's no sense ignoring. The heart knows what it wants. And I think we just have to listen to it sometimes.
You're absolutely right. I've adopted a philosophy that every morning when I wake up, I have 3 years to live. And from there, I can make all the choices that I need to make about how I want to live that day, that week, and the next month. I choose who I want to spend time with. And there's some people, all of us have, that are just energy zappers. They just take our energy away. And I make the choice not to be around them. And I make the choice to be with people who give me energy, who fill me with love and life. And we have those situations. I choose to do the things that add value to my life and not do the things that take away from my life. And everything I look at is a choice. And I use that 3 years to live as my barometer.
You said it very well. You really did. You're right. Some people are just miserable and they just get you in their swirl, and it sucks being around them. And I think you're completely right that you have to do, I get it. We all have rough days, right? Or rough years, but you just can't waste your life sometimes just being there for other people that are just constantly miserable no matter what good happens to them.
Exactly. Taking a moment and asking myself, is this the best use of the time that I have left? Realizing that I may not get this opportunity ever again. And I think if all of us would ask that question, we'd make a lot of different choices.
Yeah, I read something the other day, like, what would you do if you won like $100 million? And it's such a cliche question to ask, but if you really truly sit and think about it, what would you do? Because that's probably what you should be doing regardless.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another question is, what would you do if you could do anything you want in the world and you wouldn't fail, you wouldn't lose your job, you just had the time to do anything that you ever dreamed of doing? What is it? And if we look at that and are honest with ourselves, there's many things we'd love to do that we want to do.
Yeah.
Now, one thing on that, if I may, I've discovered just in myself and in the CEOs that I've mentored over the years, even when they have this opportunity to say, what is it I really want? For some reason, they go with what they should want or what other people think they should want rather than what it is that they really want. And I think that's a struggle that we have to get past. Get past what others think we should do, what we think we should do, and go to what we really, really care about and love.
Do you think it's because they're embarrassed? I think we all have this paranoia to say, hey, I want to have $100 million in the bank. I want to be able to work 1 or 2 days a week. I want to be able to relax, meditate every day, work out. I feel like, especially if you're a CEO or workaholic type like me, it's almost embarrassing to admit something like that, right? And you have this social stigma that, how dare you want something like that, like the easy life, so to speak.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. And I used to worry about that. I used to think, what? Well, they think I'm arrogant if I say this is what I want in my life, this is what I believe I can accomplish. You know, there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And I think people that project confidence, others want to be around, they want to follow. People that project arrogance don't. So as long as I give the message in a way that's not I'm better than you, or I'm just, this is what I dream about. I probably won't accomplish it, but this is where I want to be. And I think if we can separate it and make it about us in that kind of situation, rather than about this is what anyone should want, people will accept us as that's us being confident.
Yeah, I hear you. And I wish we were all comfortable with being honest and vulnerable and admitting what we really want. Because I feel like we waste a lot of our lives chasing things or doing things to satisfy parents or lovers or other people, but we really leave ourselves for the end. And that's not always a very good or safe option, in my opinion.
Well, this is kind of a scary thought, but it's a lot easier when you have a death sentence. And so when death is looking me in the face, it's easier for me to make these decisions. That said, all of us have a death sentence. We're all going to die at some point. So just own that it's your life or it's my life, and live it the way you want to live it or I want to live it.
What you're saying is very simple, and it's not anything earth-shattering, but it just makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's why I've been blessed, and that's why my book is called Cancer's Gifts, because it's given me such clarity on what's important in my life, not in everybody's life, but what's important in my life. And I've, these last 4 years and however many years I have, I know are going to be special for my wife and me. They're going to be what we've always dreamed of, and we will both have no regrets when I'm gone.
Do you almost feel sorry for people that, whether they're young, middle-aged, and they just feel like they have all the time in the world and they don't plan ahead and they don't, it's like ironic in a way, right?
It is. I don't know that feeling sorry for them is the right word. I have hope for them, and I want them to open their eyes to what's possible. Anytime we tell ourselves, I can't do this because of whatever it is that we come up with, those are self-limiting beliefs that hold us back. Anytime I hear myself saying, Les, you can't do that, I have to ask myself, why not? Why are you saying you can't do it? What's stopping you, and what's possible? Again, we're all limiting ourselves with these can'ts and these self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Tell us a little bit about what is the one thing on your bucket list for the year?
Well, I'm fortunate in that I have been taking advantage of lots of bucket list items. Travel is very important to my wife and me. And so we are going to Vietnam and Cambodia to see Angkor Wat in February. We're going to Hawaii in 2 days. I'm looking at walking the Tour de Mount Blanc, which is a 100-mile walk around 4 countries, I guess it's 3 countries, around the Mount Blanc. So that's something I want to do. But I guess my biggest dream right now, when I wrote this book, let me backstep. When I wrote this book, I was writing it for my wife, and that was the only person I wrote it for. And I've had such great reviews that now I want to reach 100,000 people with my book. And so I have a dream of being on national television, being interviewed about my book and sharing my story. And I'm definitely going to do what I can to make that happen.
Okay, that's cool. Do you have any advice for somebody that is, let's just pick a random number, middle-aged, 50, that has worked hard in his life in the field of music or book authorship or any field whatsoever? Anything you could offer to them as advice that they should listen to?
Something that I've learned over the years is I speak for me, I write for me. I don't do it for other people necessarily. If other people enjoy it, I love it. But I don't care if I'm the best in the world at anything. I just want to be able to express myself in whatever way, whether it's music or writing or whatever. I told you I play the ukulele. I carry it with me wherever I go in the world, and I pull it out. And one of the beautiful things about an ukulele is I can get everyone in a room singing in 15 minutes. And there's so much joy in that. And I tell people, I don't sing well, and so I sing loud. And that's just been my philosophy.
Yeah, that's awesome, yeah. Hey, you know what? At least you're singing. I think the saddest thing in the world, I could tell you that I struggled for many, many, many years hating my voice. I never had training. And I think the one thing people don't realize, I've been taking songwriter lessons for the last 6-7 years. And it's like, if you haven't been taught it, how do you expect to know what you're doing?
Yeah.
And I think you got to be patient with yourself. And I think you can learn to do anything. I've learned to play the piano. I've learned to sing. I've learned all these things that I had no clue about, but it takes hard work. Like next year is my 10th year. It takes 10 years to become a master. And I feel like I'm about maybe 50% there. It might take me another 10 years. I think you got to put in the work if you really want to do it. And I think that gets back to,
yes,
don't waste your life. Do what you want to do, right? Why spend time doing things that aren't making you happy?
Whatever it is, just put it, if something makes you happy, even if you're no good, do it. If something makes you miserable, but you're great at it, why do it if you don't enjoy it? So I think especially with someone middle-aged, 50 or so, this is a great time to find what brings them joy. Find where they can find the greatest happiness in every single day and make plenty of time for that. And find out ways to get rid of the things that just take away from their joy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's never too late, and that's something that I keep harping on. It doesn't matter how old you are. One of the coolest things I saw a couple years ago, I don't remember his name. It was some Italian or some composer. He was, I think, almost 80, and he won his first Grammy. And he'd been trying for years. And I was like, it was such a cool thing to see. It warmed my heart to see him so happy. And, I think it's so cool. It's precious.
And my assumption is he was happy creating his music all along.
Yeah.
But to finally have somebody else say, wow, you've done a great work here. You are, talented. That reinforcement is so valuable. And I'm sure you're right. It just changed his life.
Yeah, it's almost like, I understand it's validation in a way, which is it's not something that makes a lot of sense, and it's not something, but anyone who's creative in any way, your book, right?
Yeah.
If you get a review that says, hey, this is great, it's wonderful to have someone say you changed their life and you affected them, but you get a great review, you get a body of people, the American Publishing Society, whatever, to give you that validation. It just makes you feel good about yourself, even if it's temporary.
You are so right. There's one review that is on Amazon.com right now for my book. And literally when I read it, I started crying. It was just so beautiful. And it was everything I wanted to have happen with my book was expressed in this one paragraph. It was magical. So I get that.
Tell us a little bit about where can people buy your book? Where can they reach out to you? Give us some information about you.
So my book is available on Amazon.com. And again, it's called Cancer's Gifts, A Loving Journey towards the Final Chapter. I have never been a person until the last month to be on any kind of social media. So I'm on where old people go, Facebook, just looking for Les Whitney on Facebook, and you can find information about my book. You can go to caringbridge.org. It's a site where people share their journeys through health issues, and that's where I end up writing my blog. So caringbridge.org, and just look up Les Whitney, and you'll be able to keep up with me as I go through my issues going forward.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, man. Any parting thoughts for the show? Anything that we haven't talked about that you want to mention or anything?
Just every one of us has an opportunity to live a great life for the rest of their lives. And if they can just choose happiness in every situation, I'm sure all of us can have better lives. So, sing loud, play your instrument loud, get out there, and don't let anyone tell you that wasn't any good or we don't want to listen to you. Just get out and make your music, because I think that's what helps the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think people can learn a tremendous lesson from you, and I think everybody should enjoy the time they have left. And the absolute truth is, we have no clue. No one can sit and tell you what's going to happen or not happen. And I don't think anybody really can understand or fathom and say, hey, today's the last day. Today's the last time I'm going to go to the movies. And I think we need to really realize that. whether we're terminally ill or we're not.
I agree 100%. Live like you are dying.
Yeah.
I just think that's a great way to live.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I think the audience is going to really, your story is going to resonate with them. And I think they're going to appreciate where you're coming from and where you're going. And I think they're going to wish you the best and Godspeed and 10 more years, 20 more years for you, man.
I love it. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. So to any listeners out there, Les and I want to thank you so much for spending a little time with us. We hope your own unique story gets heard around the world. My name is Sarantos. Please join me every Tuesday night to hear other amazing artists and authors share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show on Reality Radio 101. And tonight I'm going to leave you with one of my songs that I wrote for my father called What If I Never See You Again. There's no question death is a traumatic time for everyone involved. And when my dad passed away, it took me a while to get over the grieving process. I hope you listen to this and watch the video, and I hope it inspires you in a way. Have a great night, everyone. I love you guys.
You passed away almost 2 years ago now. Every night I go searching, looking for a sign of your immortal shadow. I wish I'd see a sign, any sign would do. I just wanna know you're in a safer place now. Back to your old, healthy, happy self. And that you feel better somehow. I wish I could hear your voice again. My thoughts run wild as I lie awake. I just can't sleep. What if I never see you again? My mind thinks as my heart starts to weep. What if there is no heaven? What if my heart does never mend? I feel so sad without you as my friend, and I wonder if I'll ever see you again. I wish I was more secure. I wish I was stronger. I wish I could find the cure and believe in my humanity and in you. I'm half the man I used to be. I never used to not believe, especially when I tried to fall asleep. 'Cause now I feel so abandoned. As I lie awake, I just can't sleep. What if I never begging you for a sign. 'Cause I'm not sure that I can last. Please do that thing you like to do. And no sign will do, a voice, an image, a vivid memory. Are you up there enjoying the view? Are your arms wide open waiting for me? My thoughts run wild as I lie awake. I just can't sleep. What if I never see you again? My mind thinks as my heart starts to weep. What if there is no heaven? What if my heart does never mend? I feel so sad without you as my friend, and I wonder if I'll ever see you. My thoughts run wild as I lie awake. I just can't sleep. What if I never see you again? My mind thinks as my heart starts to weep. What if there is no heaven? What if my heart does never mend? I feel so sad without you as my friend, and I wonder if I'll ever see you again.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.